Now back to our school coverage. Today, the Centers for Disease Control announced, despite what Vice President Pence said just yesterday, the agency will not be changing its school reopening guidelines, which were published back in March. We took a closer look at those guidelines for schools. They include closing shared spaces such as cafeterias and playgrounds. If that's not possible, making sure there is frequent cleaning between use, staggering arrival and dismissal times, flexible sick leave policies for any staff members. If you'd like to read all of the CDC's guidelines, we have put a link to them on our website, news4jax.com.
And breaking it down county by county, we have Clay County's reopening plan released just moments ago. There are 4 options for parents to decide: the traditional brick and mortar in-person learning, Clay Virtual Academy, online school for K through 12th grade only, and blended learning, that's for 7th through 12th only. Parents will have until next week, the 16th, to make their decision. In Nassau County, the school board will release its plan for reopening during tonight's meeting. Initially, the Nassau County School Board said masks would only be required on buses and during class changes, but Superintendent Kathy Burns says they are looking to expand the requirement, and after county commissioners mandated that masks have to be worn from inside public buildings. In Putnam County now, parents will have a week to decide between 3 options in Putnam. First is face-to-face under strict rules like daily temperature checks, social distancing, wearing masks when moving around in the classroom, working in small groups, and when changing classes, and while waiting in line for food at the cafeteria. Option 2 now is digital learning, which is different from the virtual or the independent learning. And option 3 is virtual learning, and that's what they did in the spring.
We're spending a considerable amount of money on the distance learning equipment itself, to be able to provide these services, extra instruction to close the achievement gap. And again, we're using CARES money to, fulfill those needs as well.
Now you can find more like these updates on our website, news4jax.com. Just look for the Facing the Fall section under the News tab and go to news4jax.com/newsletters to sign up today.
President Trump has said the CDC's current guidelines for schools reopening are, quote, expensive and impractical. News4Jax has a team of reporters helping you face the fall. We begin with Kelly Wiley. Kelly, the CDC guidelines say kids are at the lowest risk if they are at home.
Yeah, and the CDC's guidance that kids are at the highest risk when they're in person in the classroom and there's no social distancing has not changed. We reached out to the health department today, who said they are trying to hit this balance between academics and also preserving the health and safety of teachers and students. School districts across Florida, including Duval County schools, have yet to release new plans for the first day. This delay comes after Florida's education commissioner ordered all public and charter schools in the state to open school buildings for face-to-face instruction 5 days a week. It's a decision the Florida Education Association does not support.
It's really irresponsible, and that worries us because of the safety of our children, first and foremost, and then certainly our staff and their families.
The FEA released its own recommendation asking school boards to define health requirements to come back to campus, reduce class sizes to ensure social distancing, create a policy identifying high-risk students and employees, and to provide flexible use of paid sick leave that does not come out of accrued sick leave. Today, the Duval Health Department said the Department of Health Duval has worked very closely with DCPS as a consultant regarding the interpretation of the CDC guidelines, adding this, of course, is a fluid process. As CDC guidelines are amended, our approach will also be amended. The director of the CDC told ABC News this morning the agency has not changed its guidelines, published back in March, that state the highest risk would be in-person classes where students are not spaced apart.
I want to clarify, really what we're providing is different reference documents. So our guidelines are our guidelines. It's not a revision of the guidelines. It's just to provide additional information to help the schools be able to use the guidance that we put forward.
Duval County Schools is holding off on answering questions today, saying, quote, we will probably be in a position to discuss more about our revised plan by sometime next week. And you'll remember there are some things that we already know that Duval was wanting to do before they heard about this emergency order, and that tentative plan that they released weeks and weeks ago to parents. They talked about doing a hybrid model of people coming into the classroom and some doing Duval homeroom, which they did late last year. What will turn out in the end after this emergency order still remains to be seen, but we are working on getting answers for you. Reporting live in Jacksonville, Kelly Wiley, Channel 4, the local station.
Kelly, thank you. We know families have many more questions than usual with the school year starting in August. Our Facing the Fall newsletter will offer you answers. Sign up now to get stories like how Duval County will have free testing for public school students and employees sent straight to your inbox. Just go to news4jax.com/newsletters to sign up now.